Hey, YouTube. Hey. Hey, what's going on? What is up, YouTube? Okay, so this is gonna be a story time about how we met. And since Jasmine says that I'm wrong, she's gonna talk. And
Yeah,
I'm
cause
just going to.
y'all, let me tell y'all. He told this story about 5 years ago, and that was a complete mess because that's not what happened. So that's why I'm here to tell y'all what really happened. So to start the story off, to kick the story off, we he just happened to work with somebody that I grew up with, and
Yeah. And,
you
and
from the
oh yeah, and Antoinette B, shout out to you. The person that I was cussing out and and when I was doing a live stream, she came in. Yeah, but go ahead.
and he, like I said, he happened to, because he was doing this thing called peer mentoring or whatever, and one of my good friends happened to be a peer mentor, so they worked together. Now, mind you, I didn't know this man from Adam, but
She
my
did.
friend came to me and like, I know this guy at my job, yada yada yada. You should talk to him. And at this time, at this particular time, when she's telling me
Oh,
this,
I want to point this out. I want to point this out. At this particular time, when when Sean introduced her to me, she was dating somebody else.
I was in a whole, I was in a whole relationship at the time that she telling me about this guy at her job. And so at first I was very hesitant to even talk to him. I was like, "No, you good?" Because I'm in a relationship. No, you straight or whatever. And she like, "No, just talk to him. You know, a little conversation won't hurt." Yada yada. So she twisted my arm a little harder, and I was just like, all right," because she was like, "It seems like he could really use a friend." Yada yada do. So I'm like, "All right, as a favor to you, I'll talk to him." So she gave him my phone number, which I gave her permission to do. And he called me or whatever. And I remember it like it was yesterday because it felt like yesterday, even though it was 6 years ago now, it felt like yesterday. So I'm just sitting here minding my own business that pays me. And I'm watching A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, which is one of my favorite movies. And then all of a sudden, I get this phone
Which is
call.
one of my favorite movies as well.
And I get this phone call from this number I don't recognize. So I pick it up and he like, "Hello." And I'm like, "Oh, hey." And he like, "I'm so and so friend. I work at her job, yada yada." I'm like, "Oh, you that guy or whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, nice to meet you, whatever." And he he asked me what my story was, where I'm from, all that. So I started telling him about my relationship issues because at the time that I met him, I was also having issues in my relationship at that particular time. So
Yes.
I was having a lot of issues in my relationship. So I was telling him what was going on. And this man is bold, y'all. Let me tell you how bold this man is. This man knew me for 5 minutes and told me that you should leave your boyfriend. 5 minutes.
Because no, okay. Hold up. Now she told me all these bad things, but she didn't expect me to tell her to leave him.
I'm just like, I don't even know. I barely know your name is Raphael, and you telling me this already? Because I was in a very abusive,
Relationship.
rela-
I wasn't telling her to leave him for me. I was telling her to leave him his bitch ass in general. That was just in general.
And I'm like, I love him. We've been together 11 years. Yes, y'all, my relationships be lasting a long time. Hence why I've been with him for so long. But anyway, I'm like, I love him. He just, you know, he has some issues. And, when he gets angry, he just goes there. But I love him.
And y'all, we going to do a story time about how this guy used to tell her that he wanted another woman.
And
We're gonna do a story time about
we
that.
going to talk about that too. So we talked for the first night and we talked for a few hours. It wasn't nothing out of the ordinary. He was in a group home at the time, so he wasn't feeling the best either. So it was like, oh, we just two people talking, and then all of a sudden we became like close. You know what I'm saying? We was kind of bonding, and we didn't mean to, by the way, because that was not my intention. Certainly not, especially with me being in a relationship at this time. I wasn't trying to bond with anybody else. It just sort of turned into that. I'm like, oh, I used to call and check on this man every day because he seemed so down all the time. And I just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure he was all right, mentally all right. I'm like, so
which which she still does. She still check in with me.
a bunch of long days start turning into a bunch of long nights. And it was just like, well, you know, he made me forget that I had a man because I would talk to him more than I would talk to my boyfriend. Because when I was talking to my boyfriend, we was fighting, so it wasn't good when we was communicating. So when I was communicating with Ralph, it was like it was different because we wasn't arguing trying to go for each other next. So I just got comfortable with that. And one night I was talking to him and he was like, "Don't you think you should call your boyfriend? You ain't,
That part, that
you
part,
know."
and also, I would like to let y'all know. I told her, I'm like, listen, close that door before you open up another, cause I'm not that dude.
And I'm just like, man, he do this and do that and whatever. And I'm like, I was the one, I will admit this in front of the entire world. I was the one that was trying to like, hey man, I know I got a man and all that. I realized that, but me and him ain't really on good terms. And he like, well, you have to close that chapter in your life and yada yada yada.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
rolling my
yeah.
eyes at this point because I'm just sitting there like, what do you care? You don't even know this man. You don't know this man from Adams.
But this is what I explained to her. I said, even though I don't know him from a can of apples, can of paint, whatever you want to call it, even though I don't know him, it's still not right for you to be going with somebody else.
I'm like, you don't owe him anything. You don't even know this man. He like, yeah, I realize that, but it's still not fair. And I'm like, so
And I just want to tell y'all something else. My staff, this one staff that I had when I was there, she was she was like a Muslim, but she was bomb as fuck, and she was like, she wants you.
and
I'm
he did
like,
not believe this woman at
ah,
all.
no, no, other staff was saying it too, like she wants you, she wants you, she wants you bad.
And
And
he
I
didn't
told that lady, I said, she don't want me because she already has a man. And she was like, well, who is she calling every day? I'm like, she called me every day, but that's not the point of the conversation. She has a man. Like, I was being like, I forgot her name. I was being like that girl on Friday when she was like, Craig already has a woman. I was the same way. Like, she already got a man. She don't want me. She was like, Raphael, I know you can't be this naive. She wants you. She's calling you every day. She called you before Miss Jackson say you can't be on the phone. That's how I know she wants you. She wants you bad. She wants you to
And
be her man. All my staff, like literally, y'all, all my staff was saying this, and I was like, no, she don't want me. We just friends, and that's it.
and at first didn't I didn't want him because he told me I'm 20 years old, yada yada. And point, at this particular point, I'm 31. So it's like, he's I have never dated someone that young before in my life. That's not no exaggeration. I've never done that ever. In fact, sidebar, I used to talk about people that did that type of stuff. I was like, man, you gotta be out your mind. Date somebody that's 20 and you in your 30s. What is wrong with you? Are you crazy? I used to see people on TV dating people that's 16 and they 49 and all that type of stuff. And I used to be looking at them like that ain't never gonna be me. I ain't never gonna do that in my life. Not me. And then I met him. And um, the way he would talk to me and just make me feel better. Let me tell you how slick this man is. He
Here
was
we
telling me
go.
everything that my
Here we
boyfriend was not.
here we go. No, I was telling you things that was right. Like for example, I would tell her stuff like, "You beautiful. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. You don't. You're like." And she got this one picture that I love, and it's a picture, but it's in gray. And if I could get that picture and steal it, I would make that my screensaver because
Because
it looked like it looked like she got the Regina King. She's giving me Regina King vibes. Okay,
and speaking of not to get off track, we're gonna get back to the story in a second. But prayers up to Regina King. That situation with her son is just Lord. I can't imagine what pain she must be feeling right now. To have your son take his life at 26 years old. I, look, prayers up to her, man. I can't imagine what she
prayers.
going through right now. But um, he was just like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and why are you dealing with this dude? And I'm like, "Cause I
Yeah,
love him."
yeah, no, and I told her I was like, "What's love got to do with it?" Because love don't have nothing to do with it. Because she would tell me the things that he would say, and I'm like, "That's not right." Period. Under no circumstances should you be going through that.
I'm like, I love him. He just, he has some issues. And he was like, "Man, you should not be dealing with that. You should not be going through that. That should not be your life or whatever." And I stayed with my boyfriend for a little while. I didn't meet him and leave him right away. I did not. That's not what happened.
Nope.
Um
Because I wouldn't allow her to do it. Get into that. Get into that. I wouldn't allow her to do it.
um I had a fight with him and it was really nasty, and he said some really hurtful things as he always did in that relationship. But this time it was just so hurtful that I just couldn't recover. I was just done. And I cried after I got off the phone with him because it was just so hurtful. And I
I even
fought.
told I told her about that. I said, so you telling me that you love this man, but he making you cry?
And I'm like, and I was one of these women that did something you're never supposed to do, which is blame yourself.
But it
And
wasn't. But baby, it wasn't you. It was him.
but at
Like
that time, I didn't
like
know that.
like like fucking. I'm gonna shoot the shit. This man would this man would be talking to other women online
All the time.
from
And
from different states, but then get mad when she do it. And I was just sitting up there like I'm gonna be honest, she made my it made it, he made my blood boil because I felt as if he shouldn't be treating her like that. He should have left her alone. But go
and
ahead.
every he made me feel bad in every way. I mean, he called me everything up under the sun. It was every time I would catch him cheating, it was my fault,
Yeah.
you know. And when somebody
And
tells you that long enough,
and here's another thing. Here's another thing that just grinded my gears. Here's another thing that just grinded my motherfucking gears. Like this man told her he want a white girl, but
he
come to find out it wasn't the case because he had talked to any and everybody.
yeah, he used to talk to. There was a incident where I had a relative in the hospital, basically dying in there. And you know, when you going through family issues like that, you expect your
Expect
man,
your man,
to be there emotionally, and he was he was not. Like he broke up with me on my way to the hospital. Like he just and he didn't give a reason. He didn't give a reason, he just left. And I'm just like, oh what? Like he would break up with me out of absolutely nowhere. No reason, no nothing. He just gone. And I'm just like, what the and then he would come back. And then, he would say, babe, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get my act together. I'm gonna stop hurting you. And I would believe him
yeah,
every time.
yeah, the baby, like I told her, the baby boy syndrome.
And you know, he explained to me like, I love you. You just you just
No,
make me
no,
mad.
and no, that ain't love. That ain't love. So because a person makes you mad, you gonna go out and cheat on them?
Like
Are we?
I
Are
love
we?
you, you know.
Are you? Are you? No, you. No, the fuck you don't. And I'm getting agitated just talking about it with this story time. But cause like I said, you can't. And telling her that you want a whole different race. This man was dating a girl that looked like she needed to be in kindergarten.
And she wasn't even white. She was Mexican or whatever she was. But he'll come over. He'll he'll come to my house and he'll love all on me, like, I love you, and you just make me
And,
mad
and, and,
sometimes.
and here's another thing. Here's another thing that just grinded my gears when it came down to him. He would tell his family, "Oh, I'm not going with her. I'm not going with her."
He told everyone in his family that we wasn't together. Mind you, we have been together for like 7, 8 years at this point. And he would always tell people that he was single or whatever, but behind closed doors, he's like, you know, babe, I love you and stuff. Why you worried about what people talking about? You need to stop listening to that. You listen to other people too much, and you don't never believe me, and you just gotta know that they lying to you, like totally manipulating me. Like it was a time where we was outside and we chilling outside. He said something disrespectful to my face. And I'm like, you know what? I'ma just go in the back. Cause we was chilling on the front porch and I was just like, I'ma just go in the back. Like, leave me alone. And he like, oh, come on, babe, don't be like that. I didn't mean it that way. And then he started kissing me and telling me that he loved me. And
The
I'm
baby,
like,
the baby boy syndrome.
and we're literally arguing outside. And then next thing you know, it's like, I love you and all this time. It was just my relationship was very toxic. It was very, very toxic. So that went on. That cycle went on and on and on for a long time. Every time I would leave him, he'll find a way for me to come back.
Hey, Michelle. Hey, how are you? Haven't seen you
And
in my chat in a long time.
when I finally met this guy, it was like, alright. So I had called Raphael after the last fight that me and him had, cause like it was just vicious. Like we was throwing down, like we was saying all kind of things to each other, because we didn't respect each other no more. We didn't care what we said, what we did. We didn't care about hurting each other's feelings. We didn't care about none of that. It was just balls to the wall, and we was going for each other's throats without any regard whatsoever. And that night when I left him, I cried. And then I called Raphael the next day and told him what happened. And, you know, it went from there. Like, it went from there. And I said, you should come over. So I invited him to my house. And
Oh yeah, and by this time I was out of the group home.
By this time, he had went home and was living with his brother and everything like that. So I invited him over. We still weren't dating really when I invited him over, but we was working on it. So I invited him over. Of course, he brought snacks over because I told him, hey, maybe we should just, have some snacks and just kick it or whatever. So that was that. Now, before he got here, I was talking to my friend that originally introduced us, and I was so nervous because I hadn't seen a man in like 5 or 6 years up to this point because my boyfriend wasn't around a lot. I mean, he was, but he wasn't. So it was like, um, it was just a lot, and I was so nervous
Thumbs up the live
meeting
third
him for
person.
the first time. So he rolled in, and he always tells this funny story. He rolls in. I'm talking to my friend. I'm still talking to her as he rolling in. I'm like, oh my god, what if we kiss or something? Like, what if something happens and yada yada? And she's just like, you gotta calm down. You gotta relax. Doo doo doo. And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm clammy. My hands are sweating, and it's a lot. So he rolls in. I get off the phone because that's what you're supposed to do when somebody roll into your house. So I'm like, all right, I gotta go or whatever. So he says hi or whatever. I say hi to him. Now, man, this the first time we meeting in
Thumbs
person
up the
because
live
we had
two
never met
people.
before. So this the first time that we meet. And y'all, I don't know what it was because I didn't know this man from Adam. Didn't know him from Apple. Not for real anyway. But our connection was it was instant. Like it was like it was just like that, man. It was instant, bro. It was soon we seen each other. It was just like that. So
Nah,
we was
no,
talking and
nah, no.
all that,
But tell them how the first kiss went.
and it was just like
They tell them how the first kiss went,
we gonna
cause
get
you
to that.
didn't.
We gonna get to that. We eating snacks. We chilling. We talking. Now, y'all, I have uh a a country accent, sorta, kinda. So he was just like, "Where are you from? Your accent is unique or whatever, whatever." And we was talking about that. I explained that to him. So I'm eating some chips or whatever. I put the chips down. I'm chewing the chips up or whatever, and I'm just eating. And all of a sudden, we locked eyes. And once we locked eyes, it was like he gave me the grandma kiss first, y'all. Like he actually tried to kiss me on the forehead first, which was like, um, okay, what are you doing? So then I'm like, okay, let's do this over. We we redid we redid the first kiss, and y'all, like when I tell you everything went off, and it was just like from there it was over with. It was over with. We couldn't, for some reason or another, we couldn't keep our hands off each other after that. It was just, I don't know, the electricity that we had between each other was crazy because we didn't know each other from atoms. We didn't know each other from apples.
Right.
And it was like, it was just electric. And we was just all over each other that night. And I was just sitting there going,
No, we was all over each other for the next month. That
It
night
was
too,
it was just
but like
it
for
was the
but
night
like
he
every
left my house for the first 3 months that we decided that we was gonna be together for the next 3 months. It was, whoo, Lord, it was too much. It was too much, too fast, because every time I would see him, it was just, I don't I don't know what it is, but it's something about when I see him, it's it's electric. And I was thinking, like, I have never been attracted to a man in the way that I'm attracted to him. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. It's just, I say for the first 6 months, we couldn't, we talked every day, we texted every day, we was just all into each other,
and
and it was,
I went and I'm gonna say this too. I went back home because I had to talk to my brother. I asked him if I can get the laptop just so I can talk to her on video chat. We did some questionable things on video chat,
we used to
but
video chat every day. And it just was like, I always tell him that he was my painkiller, because every time he kissed me, it just took more and more pain away. Because when I tell y'all I was in pain when I met this man, I was in pain. And I just wanted to feel good at that point. Like, I didn't even think about falling in love with him or none of that. I wasn't thinking about that. But he just made me feel so good that I couldn't stop. Like, it was almost like, I don't want to say addiction because I don't want to sound scary, but because at first I'm like, what are you doing? He's 20, you're 31. Like, what are you really doing with him? And it was just like, I actually wanted to stop. I actually wanted to stop seeing him for a minute, because I'm like, what am I doing? I'm tripping. I'm about to be 32 years old. This man is 20. I shouldn't be doing this, but it's just the way he made me feel. I couldn't help it. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. And when I met him, I was still pissed off at the things that happened in my previous relationship. So I'm like, I'm gonna get over him. I'm gonna get over him. I'm gonna get past him and all this. That's how everything started, because I was trying to force myself to get over my ex. And on top of that, he was making me feel good on top of that. So it was just like, I'm like, I don't want to fall in love with this. I don't want to fall in love with this man. I don't, because I had just got my heart all shriveled up and stopped on. So I wasn't prepared to fall in love with nobody. I wasn't ready for that. Look, I just wanted to feel good for a night or two, and I had no idea that it was gonna take the life that it took. It just took a life of its own, and then I I, I fell, and when I fell, it was no stopping me after that. It was just like, I have to, Then it wasn't about my ex no more. It wasn't about trying to get revenge on him or whatever, the case. Then it became about the fact that I'm really in love with this man. Like, I didn't want to do it, but once I did it, it was over with. It was it was over. It was done. You know, it was just one of those things to where I had to look at God and say thank you instead of asking you why are you doing this. I just said thank you, and I've been in love with him ever since. And it was just it was just something that wasn't planned, but once it happened, it it happened. And even some of the things I felt back then, I still feel to this day, 6 years later. Like, and the crazy thing is, I love him even more now than I did 6 years ago. As crazy as that is. And I didn't see life after my ex because I had been with him for so long, and I didn't see life on the other side because I had got so conditioned to how my relationship went. So it was like life on the other side of this thing was not something that I was thinking about. Um, that wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? But meeting him was the best thing that ever happened to me. He doesn't like it when I say stuff like that because he's like, "Oh, come on, man, don't do that." But no, I'm serious though. Meeting him was the best thing that ever happened to me in life. Like, I could tell this man anything. He could tell me anything. And you know, I just trust him more than I've ever trusted any man. Cause I come from a land of I don't trust a lot of people. So if I trust you in any form, consider yourself lucky. Um, if I trust you, because I don't trust. And he made me let down all my walls because it just, it just, I just couldn't resist him as much as I tried to. And he'll tell you, I tried. Emotionally, I tried. I'm like, I may be attracted to you and all that, but you're not gonna get my heart just because you just not.
Right.
And
And I ain't
and
even do nothing. I ain't even do nothing to get her heart.
and I'm just like, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. But the more time I spent with him and the more I got to know him, I was like, I want him. And and from the moment we locked eyes, I knew that uh-oh. Like, I was always scared of men like this because I'm not the type of person that I don't think everybody I date is the one like most women tend to do. And then when they break up or there's a breakup, they talking about, oh, I thought he was the one, but he wasn't this and he wasn't that and da da da. I'm not that woman. I don't give my heart away at all. And if I do, it takes a whole lot. So when I gave it to him, it took so much time and growth because we both had to grow as people. Because when we met each other, we wasn't exactly the most mature people in the world. Um, but when I gave it to him, I knew I could trust him with it by the time I did give it to him. You know what I mean? Like I knew that, so I felt comfortable with giving it to him. But boy, it went against every principle that I have to be with him. Cause I don't do this older, younger stuff because I thought it was a little predatory, and I ain't no predator. But when he told me, and y'all, I'm not trying to get too graphic on here because I know it's YouTube and all that. But the things that this man can do with his tongue is just retarded. Like it doesn't make no sense whatsoever. And I pinch myself every day knowing I got a man like this. Pinch myself. Cause I don't believe myself. I he just he has changed me in ways that I didn't even think I could be changed. Um, I'm just like it was. It's been a ride, but I wouldn't change the ride for anything. I wouldn't change anything we went through to get to the point where we at right now. Like we've been through some stuff, but I wouldn't change that for a thing. I wouldn't trade him for a dollar in a dream. And he hates when I talk about him like that because he don't feel like he that special, but that's his own demons. Those ain't my demons. Um, like now I don't even pay attention to other men because I have him. Like I'm this person anyway, but I'm really this person with him because I'm so happy with this man. This my family love him. Everybody that know me in real life love him. And people always rooting for us no matter what we going through, and it just been a lot of love. You know what I mean? It's been a lot of love with this. You know what I'm saying? I was a little hesitant because of his age or whatever, but once he got me to see that it was okay, I was I was cool with it. I mean, I still have this animalistic attraction to him that is just I don't know what that is. I don't know why I want him as bad as I want him, but I do, and I
I can
scare
give you.
myself. I scare myself sometimes of how deep I'm in love with this man. Like, cause I don't do this. Like I said, I don't do this. I don't fall like this. I don't. So for me to be doing this is foreign territory. And like I said, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I'm so happy I met this man. Like I just thank God every day that I get to wake up and know that I have not only the love of my life, but also my friend. You know, because you gotta be friends with people you're in love with. Because you actually have to like that person to be in love with them in the first place. You can't love somebody you don't like. You have to like them in order to get to the stage of love. And when I tell y'all I love him to the moon and back, and words don't really do it justice. Um, I know I say a lot of things about him, but words don't really do it justice. So I love this man beyond words, man. I always tell him all the time, he's my everything. That's my everything. That's my heart. That's my world. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, and it's like I don't care about too much outside of him. I don't care about too much outside of him. Um, I don't care how fine somebody is. I don't care if somebody got a crush on me, like me, whatever. Um, that stuff don't phase me whatsoever. I mean, no shade to the people that like me or whatever. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I love this man so much I don't even see nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like I'm blind to an extent because I'm just all about him, man. And like y'all know, I'm a Virgo, so once you get a Virgo to lock in with you, it take a lot for us to lock in now. But once we get locked in with you, we locked in with you. We locked in to the end. We on we that person's and that person's only, bro. We not out here. Yeah, I'm in a relationship, but nah, with a Virgo, it ain't no but, man. Once we there, once we there, we there, and once we there, we staying there. We ain't moving. We ain't going nowhere. We good right where we at. You know, he doesn't have a problem with my loyalty. He always know where I am. If I'm not at home, he knows where I am. He knows what I'm doing. He doesn't get the type of headaches that some men have to worry about. He don't get that with me because he know where I stand. He don't have to question a whole bunch of niggas around me. Who is that? He ain't gotta go through none of that.
Nope,
Cause,
not at all.
'cause that's bait. And I'm gonna say this. I tell him this all the time, and he might believe me. He might not. I don't know. I'm not in his brain. But I always tell him that my love for him is bigger than this. It's bigger than this. Yes, I love the fact that we're together. Yes, I love the fact that we're in love and all the rest of that. Yes, I enjoy that part of it. But my love for him is bigger than us being together. I love him as a person because he'll tell you I loved him even when we wasn't together. Still loved him the same, still was there for him the same, still had that same feeling towards him even when we wasn't together because it was times where we wasn't together now. And that was hard. I'm gonna say this. Y'all know the sweet guy that y'all see on this camera. But when you on the other side of that, that's not fun. I've been over there more times than I want to be.
Yep,
Um, more
I
times than
gotta.
I would like. And I'm
Yeah.
not a
See,
person that does well in isolation. So when you ice me out or isolate me, I take that hard because I don't function well with that. And I've been in the dog house with him a couple of times. And when I tell you that was pure hell, that was pure hell. Because cancers are nice, but they can also ice you out. And some people don't mind being iced out. They don't care. It is what it is. But me, I I can't take that. And there's a reason why, because my ex used to ice me out all the time. And I would just be in tears because I was being pushed away. And it was like, man, that's not fun, bro. So never get on a cancer bad side, bro, because that's not a fun place to be. Um, Especially when they don't want anything to do with you, like not nothing. They don't even want to be your friend, not nothing. When they get to that point of the situation with you, that is yikes. That's
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Like I get well, I fuck it. My brother came over here today. I had him on the block list. He called me 5 times yesterday and 3 times today. His number was blocked. So he came over here and I told him his number was blocked and he said, okay, bye. I ain't gonna bother you no more. And I was like, okay. Because I'm tired. I'm tired. Cause I mean, cause like I said, like I said, people can only take so much. And he said what he said, and I blocked him, and I'm a better person for it. He not good for my mental. It's just not good. But anyway, go ahead.
He, we're not the perfect couple. Obviously, we do have fights and disagreements and all that. But what I try to do is we always, if we do get upset, or if I make him upset, we always try to make up before we go to bed because nobody wants to go to bed angry. And that's always a rule that we have depending on how mad we are at one another. Like, okay, before we say goodnight, we gonna really talk about what it is that we're upset about. Because when he goes to bed upset and I know that I had something to do with it, I take that personally, bro. That hurts that hurts me more than it hurts him. Because I don't want to be the reason that my bae is in any kind of pain because he's been in a lot of pain his whole life. So I don't want to add to that. So it's really important that when we do get upset, we talk it out because we both don't stand on like, well, if you mad, you just mad. Nah, I can't be like that. I gotta be the one to be like, all right, babe, let's fix whatever we got
Thumbs up
going
for
on.
life. Thank
Let's
you.
fix it. Let's talk about it. And sometimes we make up in other ways that I ain't gonna talk about on here because it's YouTube and that ain't y'all business. But anyway, as long as we make up before we go to bed, I'm good. And I try not to get in trouble in the first place because I don't want to deal with the other side of him. I'm, I don't want nothing to do with that. I done had too much to do with that, more than I want to do with that. So I try not to get in the doghouse to begin with. So I try to stay out of there. And so does he, because when I get mad at him, he knows what happens when I get mad at him too. So we try to stay up out of there and we just try to love each other, man. And we love each other hard. now. There was some issues with that in the beginning, but now it's just like we we on the same team. We got the same jersey on. We doing the same things, bro. We just there for each other, and I love that, man. I wouldn't trade that for nothing. Him being there for me the way that he has, I wouldn't trade that for anything. I wouldn't trade that for any man. I don't care how nice you are to look at. Cause I know some men that are real nice to look at, but they don't compare to him because of how he treat me. I can't trade that in for somebody that's nice to look at. And plus, he's nice to look at too. On top of the fact that he treats me well, I mean, he got me thinking about things that I never thought about, and I'm like, I knew he was gonna be different when he rolled in here, and I literally tried to shake up with the man because I was never like the lovey-dovey, hey baby type. That was never me. I was never that. I would never say I had a boyfriend. I would always say, yeah, I got me a nigga or whatever. Like nothing too crazy. Um, but but now he got me to be more feminine, and that's one of the things that I love about him too, is that he didn't just take anything from me and be like, "Oh, well, that's part of who she is, so I'm gonna accept that." Like he accepted parts of me, but other parts he like, "Okay, we gonna have to, do something about."
Yeah.
And I love that about him. And I'm gonna say this too because I wanted to say this on the camera. When he's upset, depending on what he's upset about, I don't know what it does to me, y'all. It to see him be so passionate turn me on for some. I don't know why. I don't know why it turned me on, but it does. It does. To see all that passion come out of him, it just I don't know. I just be wanting to just oh my goodness. Like it just do that. And he hate when I say stuff like that because he feel like I don't take his anger seriously. It's not that. It's just that I don't know.
You
Seeing a
don't.
man be passionate turn me on. Like even when my ex was like that, it would just it would press something in me. I don't know what that is. I don't know why I'm that way, but I'm that way though. I'm that way though. And like I say, sometimes when you ain't looking for love, that's when you find it. Because when I met him, I was not looking for love at all. I didn't want nothing to
Right.
do with a man to be completely honest. I wanted nothing to do with a man when I met him. But he changed my heart because my heart was frozen when I met this man. Do you hear me? Frozen. Okay, it was on Mario Icebox level. Okay, like he gave me my name because he always say I'm cutthroat. So that's how cold my heart was when I met him. It was it was like somebody took my heart out my chest and put it in the refrigerator and then put it back inside of me. Like that's how that went, man. But we just wanted to give y'all the story. Well, I wanted to give y'all the story about how this thing came to be, man, and it's been amazing. And all we gonna say is stay tuned, bruh. You
Yep.
got anything you want to say before we go, babe?
No. No. Um. Just that we're gonna have some amazing things that's gonna happen this year.
We gonna have
And
something to
I'm out.
tell y'all sooner than later.
So, yes.
That's all we gonna say. We not gonna say too much. We not gonna put too much out there because this is the internet still, honey. But we
Yes.
will be back for this week's sisters review. So yeah, we'll see y'all on Thursday.
See you on Thursday. And
Bye
make
bye
sure
now.
that bye bye. Make sure you thumbs up the live, leave us a like, subscribe, and comment. Cause I love the comments. I really, really do. All right, y'all. Deuces. Bye.
Bye bye now.